Memphis Success, episode 23 with Mike Blumenthal of Technology Happens.
You never know, and you always think, I wonder what would happen if.
What if?
You're not going to know until you actually make that transition and leap of faith.
Want to be successful in business? Listen to Memphis Success, the voice of Memphis entrepreneurs. Be prepared to be challenged and inspired to dream big and take immediate action now.
Memphis Go-Getters, welcome to Memphis Success, the voice of Memphis entrepreneurs. Hello, I'm your host, Darnell Reed, and I interview local entrepreneurs right here in the Mid-South to challenge and to inspire you to chase your dream. Today, I'm so excited. I have Mr. Mike Blumenthal of Technology Happens right here on our show today. And I met Mike at a meeting with Society of Entrepreneurs. I mean, he was just so excited about his business and the technology and things that he has going on that I had to make sure I got him on our show. So let me just give you a brief background. Mike is the CEO and owner of Technology Happens. It is an independent programming and consulting company based in Memphis, Tennessee. And their mission is to provide simple and innovative solutions that empower credit unions to better serve their members. So, Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Mr. Darnell, and how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you for joining Memphis Success. I'm so excited that you joined. Like we were talking about earlier, Memphis is a small world. Found out that we went to the same elementary school together and know some of the same people. So once again, thank you for joining the show. I know you have tons of information to share with us. Now, with that being said, I always like to kick off our show with this one simple question. Since you're a Memphian, what is normally the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Memphis?
Well, as a third-generation Memphian, that answer is always family. Memphis is just a big city with a little city feel.
Right.
Everybody knows everybody else, or we have friends that were friends with somebody. It's the Memphis geography, and there's no other place that has that.
Yeah, that's very true. This is definitely home. It's a small city, and what's to say, the 6 degrees of separation, you can always find there's some connection somewhere. Who would have ever thought we went to the same elementary school?
It is a crazy small world. Yes, it is.
So, with that being said, you know, I gave a real brief introduction of you. But if you're at a networking event and someone asks, what do you do? You know, how do you normally respond to that?
Well, my elevator speech is that we do empower credit unions to better serve their members through simple and innovative solutions. Basically, we're a whole bunch of code monkeys.
Okay. And I will say this, when I met you at the meeting, you were very enthusiastic about just the work that you guys were doing. You invited me up to your office suite, and I want to talk more about Emerge Memphis. But you took me to your office suite. You have a fantastic office, and you showed me around. It showed me, you know, tons of things that you were working on. So I do want to definitely dive deeper into those things. So with that being said, everybody has an origin, a beginning. So if you can, take us back to that time when you really decided to take that leap of faith and to become an entrepreneur, and what was really going on in your life at that point?
This happened right around May of 2011. I was working in the credit union industry in the IT side. I've been doing it since the beginning of 1999, so I had quite a bit of experience. Have a reputation in our industry to do things a little bit outside of the box. And so I got invited to speak at a lot of conferences, a lot of user groups, do a little bit of keynote speaking as well. So I had that knowledge of how to make the credit union systems work better for credit unions. Mm-hmm. And what was going on in my life is very interesting, because at that time we were about 2 months away from my first son's bar mitzvah.
Okay.
Mortgage, bills, normal daily stuff.
Right.
And I just looked at my wife and I said, I don't want to go the rest of my life wondering, oh, what would have happened if I had tried to do that? So I said, give me a year.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take this leap. And after a year, we'll look at it again and say, either I'm going to be in more debt than we are now. We just go about our life and I can say, at least I tried.
Right.
Or it worked and we just push forward. Mm-hmm. So I quit my job, and it's like the floodgates open. As soon as I made the announcement that I was looking for my replacement at my current credit unions from all over the nation just started reaching out to me and were very open and started giving me contracts. And I knew that I had enough to at least pay my mortgage and maybe not feed my family, but I could pay my bills and we could eat at our in-laws and my mom's house. So that wasn't a big deal. But I got very fortunate that that's not what happened. It truly was like the floodgates open, and I started working like a madman. Just absolute madman. My initial investment was in a laptop, and just that's it. $2,000 for a laptop, and off I went.
Wow. That's definitely amazing. So I guess let me ask you this. Was there anything that you did ahead of time to kind of just prepare for this?
So I always have had the entrepreneurial spirit. I knew it was in me, but never allowed myself the opportunity to do it. I did not have any prep work. I just knew that I can do consulting, and I knew people would pay me for the consulting. Mm-hmm. And where it really took off came after that first year. Mm. And that's when I found out about Emerge, and that's when my life changed.
Okay. Wow. So, for those Memphians who may not be aware of Emerge, they have a facility downtown. And a lot of times people call them a business incubator. So if you can, since you've been there for a while, can you just kind of explain for our Memphis Go-Getters what's Emerge and what it's done for you?
Emerge Memphis is a business incubator. You hear a lot about the startup incubators, a tech incubator. Emerge Memphis is focused on providing a communal space and a very affordable rent and mentorship, all inclusive as a full service. Mm-hmm. So for entrepreneurs just starting out that have a beginning of a business, but really need to be guided down the road of how to build it and build it quickly, Emerge is a place to be. Mm-hmm. So I started out in probably about 300 square feet, little office. And as you grow your business, then you move into the next level, and that's around 600 square feet. And then you move again as you grow more, and we're in about 1,300 square feet. And after this, what's considered graduating from the program, we move out of the building into our own facility and allow more entrepreneurs to come in and start the process. So they really held my hand and showed me how to grow a business and grow it quickly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wow, that's definitely amazing. I'm just so excited that we have something like that here.
It is truly, absolutely, we are, it's mind-boggling to me that every entrepreneur isn't talking to Carlton Carruthers, the CEO there. He has just been a dream come true.
Well, awesome. I definitely, hopefully in the future, we'll have the opportunity to speak with Carlton as well, so he can share more information and we can definitely get it out there to the Memphis community. So one other question back into your origin. When you started, was this just all on you, or did you form a team or a partnership?
So here's, after about a year, I went to Kelly and said, "Hey, it worked. I'm working
it worked.
16 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm exhausted. I'm about to stress out." And I went to look at the Emerge facility. The day that I looked at it and found out about the program, I signed the lease immediately. Mm. And that was the point where I started to go through the CEO coaching program, and they taught me how to start hiring people to take some of my workload off of me. So my assistant was my first one, and we started building the business. And after this, that was from June of 2012. And not only did we start learning about growing the business, I started learning about marketing. I started learning about leadership, and it's just crazy, crazy things that I never thought in a million years that I would ever do. I'm a coder. I mean, what am I doing running a business? I just want to. I just want to code. That's it.
I definitely understand. That's, definitely a shift, even in my business, that I eventually had to learn how to, initially you're doing it all, but then giving up those responsibilities. And then for me, one big thing was that trust.
Absolutely.
Trusting somebody else with my baby, right? with
the right people. Absolutely. The Jim Collins, the right people in the right seats.
Right. So with that being said, a lot of times as business owners and we get started, we are faced with a lot of challenges. So if you can, tell me a story of just one of your biggest challenges or disappointments as an entrepreneur, and how were you able to overcome it and bounce back from it?
So this recently happened, and I would never thought I would be saying this about such a young business, but about 3 weeks ago, we unexpectedly had an employee pass away in his sleep. It was shocking. Mm-hmm. It was tough. Right. It was emotional. You spend most of your time with the people that you work with. You spend more time with the people you work with than you do your family. So they are your family. And what I learned was we aren't all geographically located in Memphis. We're spread all over the nation. This particular employee was in Oklahoma. A lot of the people had never physically met them, mm-hmm. but I really was inspired by the way that technology has integrated itself into our lives. The people that managed him were even more impacted, and they'd never physically seen him. They talked to him on the computer, over the phone, and we mm-hmm. had video chatting going constantly all the time. So that was interesting to see how that happened. And of course, losing one of your team members in such a small company puts a strain on everybody else. And mm-hmm. for me as a CEO, to watch the team rally together and pick up the business, and it was transparent workload wise to the clients. Mm-hmm. We haven't missed a beat. And it just was very inspiring to see that this is something that I built. And here we are working together to trudge through this terrible, terrible, terrible thing. Mm-hmm. And so another lesson that I learned during this is that make sure that you have the EAP program with your insurance. Oh. The Employee Assistance Program is part of our benefits. Mm-hmm. They sent counselors out to the office and helped us transition through this insane period. And they also did one-on-ones with everybody, whether they be in Memphis or somewhere else. So make sure that your insurance does have the Employee Assistance Program. It's not a lot of money, and it's an amazing benefit. We could not have survived through this without having someone to that could counsel us through this. And also make sure that you have beneficiaries on all of your insurance. That is extremely important. When you have life insurance and you don't put beneficiaries, it becomes very troublesome.
Mm-hmm. Wow. We're definitely sorry to hear of your loss of your employee, and definitely praying for your business and their family as well.
Thank you.
There's definitely some teaching points that you've shared there that definitely, honestly, I haven't considered for my own business. So thank you just sharing some of those lessons learned from there. With that being said, and I call this question more of our big shift moment in our business. So if you can, take us to the moment in time when you had experienced or learned something new that really helped shift your business to another level.
That moment happened when one of my programmers and I were invited to go to a company called CompuTime in St. Louis. And they brought us in and started talking to the programmer and I about these wonderful company that they just started working with. Actually, I think they purchased, called True Monitor. And it was a projective capacitive screen, and they were looking to get into the credit union world. They knew that they had this great technology of a monitor, and they were looking to us to see what could we do with that. So we started talking and had that, I love that aha moment, when we realized that a big monitor could take over and replace the current existing signature solutions that every credit union is using now, which is a very small LCD, low quality signature solution, when we can present an entire document with a touch screen and allow them to capture the signature on that.
Right.
So that meeting was that shift, and it really led us down a different direction. One of the challenges that we've always had at Technology Happens is that all of our eggs are in one basket. We do programming for one specific core system. There's only a potential of 700 clients. The challenge was and always is, how do we break out of that mold? How do we expand out into different verticals? When we saw the monitor and the programmer and I were talking about what can we do with this, it just hit us like, wow, this can not only be used in the credit union industry, it could be used in the pharmaceutical industry. It could be used at Walgreens. It could be used at Rite Aid. It could be used at CVS. Why stop there? It could be used in car dealerships. It could be, it just, as we started talking more, the more and more verticals started coming out where we're like, we're going to take over the signature business. We are absolutely going to change the way people sign documents around the world. This is the next step in technology.
Wow, that is amazing. I know when I came to your office and you showed me that, I was highly impressed. Once again, that's something at least I never thought about. But then when you showed me the technology, I could easily see the use and how it was applicable, and how, now I want to see my document.
That's right.
What am I actually signing for?
So the biggest pain point, and this is something that has always driven me crazy in the credit union industry, is as I do my research and I would stand back and watch the way transactions would happen between the credit union member service representative and the member, there was always this disconnect between, what did I just sign? I didn't see it. I just signed this little LCD. And now looking back or looking at what current technology, you still get a summary of what you're signing, but you don't see what you're signing.
Right.
So now our technology will absolutely change that.
Right. So with that being said, I believe you call this your MVP.
That's correct. Member Vantage Point.
Member Vantage Point. Now,
we call it MVP for short. It's just easier to say that, and it sounds great.
Well, cool. So can I just ask you this question more from a strategic standpoint? As companies try to develop new lines in their business, I think you were informing me that you've kind of created that as a separate business from Technology Happens. Can you just kind of give us the mindset of that approach?
We have been, just like Technology Happens, I was self-funded. I knew that I didn't need investors to do this. I had the programmers on staff, so it was more of a need to self-fund it ourselves.
Okay.
And what happened was as we started getting to the finish line, which we're at the finish line now, I realized pretty quickly that we have patents pending that are under the name Technology Happens, and then we have this new product called Member Vantage Point. So as a future investor or looking for future investments, I did not want to give up any of Technology Happens. That's a sole member LLC. That's my company, and it will always be my company. So what we did was we took our research and development department and spun it off into an S Corp called Member Vantage Point Incorporated. And then we transferred all the patents pending over to Member Vantage Point. So now there is a true separation between the two companies. There's Technology Happens and then Member Vantage Point. So we're going to be doing the development and the sales of the product via Technology Happens, and it'll be under the books of Member Vantage Point.
Okay. Well, yeah, that definitely, makes sense from a strategy standpoint. Thank you for answering that question. So, just for our Memphis go-getters, as you grow your business and just looking for ways to sometimes separate and create other businesses, here's just an example that you can apply to your business in the future. So with that being said, and normally at this point in time, I ask, what one thing that you're most excited about in your business? I know you shared MVP, but is there anything else that you're just really excited about right now?
It's hard to narrow it down to one thing. I am excited about technology happening. We are on one of the most interesting rides of our lives. There's so much going on. It is really hard to narrow it down to one, but what I do have to say is look at where we are from the aspect of the beginning of computers back in the 70s and 80s
right
to now, and how fast it's grown, and look at what our children are going to be doing and start thinking about that. And it's just inspiring, and to watch all this new technology coming out, and how can I use it and to enhance the membership for Technology Happens, and then also grow Member Vantage Point to the signature solution of the world.
Yeah, it is amazing. Right now we're on Skype looking at each other, and, I know your kids just take this for granted. Like, oh, it's always been. It's always been like this. This is the norm.
I have to tell you, there's a funny story about that. Went to as a little family vacation. We went to a bed and breakfast, Lane Street Inn in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Beautiful bed and breakfast. And it was really cool is they had these different rooms, and they had our room was the Frank Sinatra room, and then the kids' room was the Sammy Davis Jr. room.
Okay.
So it was real 50s feel to it.
Right.
But in their room, they had the old phone with the rotary.
Right.
And my youngest son, Benjamin, kind of looked at it and then said, "Dad, what's that?" And I was like, he's never seen the rotary phone. We had to go,
right.
And that just blew my mind that, holy crap, look at what just happened here.
All right. All he knows is probably just cell phones. So
yeah, that's right.
So with that being said, a lot of times in business, we got to be thinking long term and into the future. So if you can, at a high level, where do you foresee, 3 to 5 years out, the vision for your business?
Technology Happens is going to continue to grow in leaps and bounds in the credit union industry. We want to set ourselves apart, and I always tell my employees our aspiration is to be the Google of credit unions.
Wow. Okay. That's
now
awesome.
Member Vantage Point, I'll say it again, we're changing the way people sign documents around the world.
Well, hey, it sounds like you're focused and, definitely are driven, and I believe that that's going to happen for you. So with that being said, I want to transition into what I call is our lightning round, but you can definitely answer it in as much detail as you like,
okay,
or short. But with that being said, was anything holding you back from becoming an entrepreneur?
Myself.
Okay.
And to explain that was, you never know, and you always think, I wonder what would happen if.
What if? You're
not going to know until you actually make that transition and leap of faith in yourself.
Okay. Now, what is the best advice you have ever received?
Let go. You said it earlier. The best advice I've ever received, I have to manage a lot of programmers.
Mm-hmm.
Programmers take their own time. I'm going to go back to a quote. I don't know who it is. Programming is an art form that fights back. I know that I can do something programmatically in 5-10 minutes, but I have to let go and let my employees do it at their own time, even though it may take them 2 or 3 hours. It would be not be beneficial for me to go and just do it. I have to allow them to grow and learn.
So how did you let go? I know for me it was a struggle. Because you feel like, I can do it better.
How did I let go?
Right.
It's called duct tape. You just wrap it around your mouth and you close your door, put loud music on and headphones, and just don't look at anything.
Right.
How do I let? It's not a. It's just a mental thing you have to do, and just realize and let yourself step back and allow yourself to see the bigger picture.
Right. So I know for me, I remember reading somewhere and just talking about just the value of your time, and so I'm paying these people. I'm supposed to be focused on more higher valued items. And I mean, that's why I brought them on to focus on these other things. Now, yes, I can do it, but I'm really doing a disservice, for my business, me focusing on these other tasks when the person I hired should be incapable of doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to, nailed it. Totally nailed it, Darnell. You were 120% right. But you also allow yourself to have that open door to be the mentor to the people. And that's another thing that I allow myself to be. But once again, you don't want to give them the solution. And I tell every one of my employees, when you come to me with a question, you better come with a solution too, to present me.
Well, that's definitely some good tips and advice right there. Now, what do you read, watch, or listen to keep you inspired and motivated?
I think every entrepreneur should absolutely listen to every TED Talk. There is no better way to find out more and interesting things, not only about your business, your personal life, and your faith.
Because I think I missed the TEDx here in Memphis. Do you get to go to those?
Yes. I was in tears. There was the not only is, once again, technology definitely happening in Memphis, there was one thing that I didn't expect to be so inspired by, and it was the first TED Talk, and I can't remember the person. It was I was in tears. It was one of the most beautiful stories I've ever heard. Yes, I went to TED Talk, and it was not only inspiring, it was emotional.
Okay. Well, yeah, Memphis Go-Getters, I definitely recommend it as well. I've watched some of the videos online, but here in Memphis, they do host a TEDx Memphis event here, and I would definitely highly recommend it. Or, definitely go online and watch it as well.
Right. The next one's coming up, I think August of next year. It was such, one of my mentors was on the board, and he said that it was such a success that not only did they sell out, they had to expand the venue out to accommodate more tickets.
Oh, wow.
So much of a success that they are definitely going to do it again next year.
Okay, great. I'm definitely going to be in attendance this time. So with that being said, is there a book you would recommend for our listeners?
Listen to me very careful, everybody listening. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. Sineak.
All right, Memphis Go-Getters, start with Why. So I guess why were you impressed by that?
One of the things at Emerge that we do constantly is determine the why we're in business. This is a concept that Simon Sinek came up with a while ago. I first was introduced to it by Carlton, who showed me the TED Talk, and I really started digging into why we are in business. The reason technology happens, our why, is relationships. We're in the industry where if we don't help our credit unions build those relationships with their members, we don't have a credit union. We don't have credit unions. I don't have a business.
Right.
So everything that we can do is, how do we build relationships with our members of our credit unions that we serve?
Okay. Well, yeah, that's definitely important to understand your why and really keep that in front of your mind on all of your decisions that you're making in your business. So Memphis Go-Getters, if you go to memphissuccess.com, look for the show notes page for Technology Happens or Mike Blumenthal. I will have the show notes and I will have a link to that book there. So you can be able to purchase that book from Amazon. But yeah, that's definitely a book. I haven't read it yet myself, but I definitely will pick it up to really understand that why and why and what's the real reason why we're doing what we're doing. So with that, you had something else?
Well, you need to read the book.
Okay. I definitely will.
Start with why, then how you do it, and then what you do.
Okay.
It's a much so I can give you the best example. When I'm telling somebody we're great coders, we're just fantastic coders. We code all day long.
Mm-hmm.
We do it through simple and innovative solutions, and we empower our credit unions to better serve their members. Now, you heard that, but what if I flip it? We empower credit unions to better serve their members through simple and innovative solutions. We're just great coders. Much different message.
Right, definitely. So with that being said, what is your favorite success quote for you? What's your mantra, or is there anything that you live by?
I have thought quite a bit about this, and I'll keep going back to something that struck me when I was a kid, and I still pretty much live by it. It's an Albert Einstein quote. Imagination is more important than knowledge.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Imagination is more important than knowledge. So, can you expound on why you like that?
If I didn't think big, if I didn't imagine the future of where the company could be, how could the people follow me?
Okay, I see that. Well, that's awesome right there. I definitely can see that, and that definitely makes sense. I definitely believe in dreaming big. So, one of the last questions that I have, and this is what I consider one of my tougher questions for you, but if you could start back over, some of our Memphis Go-Getters are just starting off in business, but if you had $100, and that $100 really represents time, and you are starting over to become a successful entrepreneur, how would you invest this money? So there's 4 areas where you can invest this money. 1 is in leadership. 2 is in hustle. 3 is in education. And 4 is in networking. How would you invest this money? And ultimately, just looking for guidance on, where should new entrepreneurs, spend their time at?
The absolute number one thing that a new entrepreneur can do is network. The old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know, is so true. It is absolutely true. I would encourage everyone to go to every entrepreneur meeting. There's tons of organizations in Memphis There's Merge Memphis puts on stuff. There's Startco does stuff. Epicenter does stuff. Memphis Society of Memphis Entrepreneurs does stuff. Just start reaching out. Darnell I'm sure he has some links. I was playing around on the site, but networking, start shaking hands and kissing babies. You need to know who is available to you to start mentoring with.
Right. And with that being said, I'm definitely planning to add some resource links to the website, to several of those other organizations and links, so everyone can stay informed. So with your $100, how much would you put into networking?
I would probably put the majority of it into it. I would say $50. Okay. I would then take the other $25 and put it into hustle. You have to know how to present yourself. You have to know how to be enthusiastic. And if you're an introvert, you've got to learn how to transition into being an extrovert, which is a tough thing to do. And that falls in line with hustle. And I would split the rest between the education is up there, and education, and then the last one was leadership, which in the beginning it's just you, so you don't have to do much leadership training. But as you start growing, you will definitely need to have some leadership training, have some coaching. There's amazing organizations out there. Once you start becoming successful, the doors kind of open up. I would also recommend a company called Vistage International. There's a Vistage group here. So as you start, and it's a CEO coaching organization. That is another reason why I am successful. Is that organization as well. Highly recommend it. We do monthly meetings. We have leadership sessions, and then we have the Vistage process, which is in itself amazing.
Okay, awesome. Once again, Memphis Go-Getters, go to Memphis Success. I will have links and information to a lot of the information that Mike has been sharing with us. So, Mike, my last question for you is, what does Memphis Success mean to you?
Growth. Absolutely. We need to build this city. It needs to be I'm just going to say it needs to be the Silicon Valley of the South. I think that we have enough to offer to any incoming tech companies that are looking for an interesting place to grow their business. It's very affordable to live here. It's very attractive. We don't have any state sales tax, or we don't have any the taxes, and we have these amazing buildings downtown that is about to go through another boom. We just got a whole bunch of governments investing a whole bunch of money downtown. Very exciting time to be Emerge Memphis is in the South Bluff area, right. And across from the breweries, getting ready to be renovated into apartments. It is the place to be. Absolutely the place to be. So growth is what I see in Memphis. It's coming. It's going to come fast. So you better jump on board, get on the bus, or get off. But you got to ride.
Awesome. Well, that is great. And so, Mike, if you can, is there any last words of advice, as well as can you tell our audience how they can learn more about you and your company?
So my last words of advice is the only person that's stopping you from beginning is yourself. And you can find out more about us on technologyhappens.com. And we currently service the credit union industry that are on the Epicenter platform. There's a couple of credit unions here that do use that. And then membervantagepoint.com is pointing back to Technology Happens right now. So you can either go to technologyhappens.com or membervantagepoint.com to find out more information on that.
So, Memphis Go-Getters, once again, this was an awesome interview with Mr. Mike Blumenthal of Technology Happens. Memphis Go-Getters, we got amazing things here going on in Memphis that we're very proud of, and I'm thankful that he was able to join us, and he shared tons of tidbits that I know that you can apply to your business. Once again, go to memphissuccess.com, look for the show notes page, look for Technology Happens or Mike Blumenthal. We will have links to a lot of the information that he shared. Also, go to iTunes for us. Subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Also, let some friends know about it. We have some amazing things going on here. And Memphis Go-Getters, as always, remember, dream big, take action, and make money.
Thank you for listening to Memphis Success, the voice of Memphis entrepreneurs. Sign up now at memphissuccess.com to become a Memphis Go-Getter and receive all the latest information and free gifts. Because your success is Memphis Success.